What's up, everybody? This is Jason. Hi, I'm back here with another video to talk about the Kansas City Royals specifically. Today is August 15th, so we're exactly at the halfway point for the month, which means that we've only got about a month and a half of the regular season to go for the Kansas City Royals this year in 2024. So the Royals just completed a three-game series with the Minnesota Twins yesterday. They did lose the series, but they finally salvaged, not finally, but they salvaged a game against Minnesota. They finally won a game in Minnesota, I should say. And they did salvage that win, but still lose two out of three. Cole Ragans was fantastic yesterday. Lucas Erceg came out of the bullpen and was really, really good. He got four outs and got a four-out save for the Royals. That was really huge. He's been awesome since he's came to the Royals. He still has not given up an earned run, and he's over 7 innings now pitched. So it's really exciting to see what Lucas Erceg is doing for the Royals. And I think that for the most part, there's not a lot of trust in the Royals bullpen still, but it is nice to see an arm like Erceg and to understand that that's a guy that you can trust a little bit in a high leverage situation. That's a guy you know can go in and get a strikeout for you. So, anyways, let's take a look at where the Royals are in the standings. Right now, the Royals are 11 games over 500 after that win yesterday. They are off today. They are still hanging on to that third wild card spot. Right now, they have a two-game lead over the Boston Red Sox, and that is the team that is chasing them. The Seattle Mariners are also 2.5 games behind them. So they've got a couple of teams right on their tail. Royals right now are a game and a half behind Minnesota, so they're not too far away from Minnesota. Minnesota Twins right now are the team holding both that second wild card out of the three and then also second place in the AL Central. Right now, the Royals are 6 games back of the AL Central, leading Cleveland Guardians. They've played well against Cleveland this year, so I'm not going to rule anything out, but I think for the most part, I don't know about the division at this point. I think that the division is still possible. It's exciting that we're here in mid-August talking about Kansas City Royal potential baseball in the playoffs and going into October. But I think the AL Central is going to be kind of a tough task at this point. But I want to talk a little bit about a narrative that's kind of been out there lately that kind of throughout the media and I think fans of Royals fans alike is that the Royals can't beat good teams. And unfortunately, they haven't really helped that narrative in the last couple of weeks because they did lose that series to Boston at home. They didn't get swept, but they lost two out of three, and then they lost at Minnesota, a team. These are two teams that are in front and then right behind them in the playoff race. So these are two teams that you really want to take care of business against, especially at home last week against Boston, but even against a team like Minnesota on the road. If you're going to catch these teams, you're going to have to beat them head to head. It's the easiest way to gain ground on them because you pick up a win and they get a loss at the same time. So I do think that it's a little bit unfair to say the Royals can't beat good teams because the Royals so far this year have famously or infamously, if you're a White Sox fan, gone 12-1 against the Chicago White Sox, which is fantastic. Chicago White Sox are one of the worst teams in Major League history. They just snapped a streak last week of 22 consecutive losses. I think they were one shy of the American League record. I don't know how close they were to the Major League record, but point is the White Sox are one of the worst teams potentially ever, but they're definitely the worst team in baseball this year, and they do happen to reside in the AL Central with the Royals. But although the Royals have gone 12-1 against the Chicago White Sox this year, so have the Minnesota Twins. So I'm here to say that I don't think that really matters. I think especially not at this point. You're to this point in the season, you've got 40 games or so, just over 40 games left in the season, and yet you are in the playoffs as we speak. The games that happened before do not matter. Whatever happened in April, May, June, July, and halfway through August do not matter. You are here. If you're the Royals, you have a chance. You have a player like Bobby Witt Jr., who is probably a top three place baseball player right now in the major leagues. He's probably not going to win the MVP. He might finish second behind Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge is having another ridiculous season. He's already got over 40 home runs and 100 RBIs in August, which is insane. But Bobby Witt Jr. right now, the Vegas odds have him at second in the Major League Baseball MVP voting. So I do feel like Bobby Witt Jr. is that kind of a player. Obviously, he's been amazing to watch. And so he's the kind of player that can continue to carry a team like the Royals. He's been doing it all year. We'll see if he can ultimately take them to the playoffs. But their pitching has been great again consistently. You have a guy like Cole Ragans, where if you're a team like the Minnesota Twins and you're playing the Kansas City Royals, you take the first two games against them, you blow them out. They won the second game 13-3, won that game by 10 runs. It's hard to win a Major League Baseball game by 10 runs. But the Twins did it, let alone do it against another playoff potential team like the Royals. And then you have to try to beat them 3 times against those pitchers that the Royals have, and it's not easy to do. So I do believe there's something to that, why the Royals have not been swept many times this year. They've only been swept, I believe, 1 time, and it was by Texas a long time ago, back in June. So the Royals really, I think, have what it takes to get to the playoffs. I think because they have those power arms in the bullpen now, like Lucas Ursag, potentially Hunter Harvey once he gets back. We'll see if the injury is kind of the reason why he was ineffective thus far. We're still talking about a guy that throws in the upper 90s. So I think the Royals, because they are starting to figure out those roles in the bullpen, Chris Bubich, Sam Long have been contributing as well lately. They have been nasty out of the pen. And then you continue their starting pitching has been like it has been. If it can continue to be that way the rest of the year, I think that they're going to have a really good chance to stay in this playoff spot that they're currently occupying. So just once again, the Royals are currently 2 games ahead of Boston, and a game and a half behind Minnesota. So they're right there. They're in the thick of it for that third wild card spot. Not completely giving up on the division, but I don't think it's super likely. But I think if the Royals can continue to pitch well, play good defense, and continue to find roles for their bullpen, I think they're going to be just fine. I think they're going to have a chance to continue to win. I know the Royals have some winning teams coming up. Right now, they're about to start a series, excuse me, with Cincinnati, the Cincinnati Reds, an interleague series this weekend, and Cincinnati is a slightly below 500 team. They're right there, kind of hovering at 500, and so that's a team to be taken seriously. Every team is a team to be taken seriously going forward. You've got to beat the Cincinnati's, you've got to beat the LA Angels who come into town after that, because then after that it's going to get tough again. You're going to play Minnesota again. You're going to play Cleveland soon. You're going to play Houston soon. You're going to play the Yankees again. So I do believe the Royals have what it takes to make it to the postseason this year if they can just continue to pitch well and get that timely hitting like they've been doing and follow their superstar Bobby Witt Jr. So that's all for me today, folks. Thank you so much. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm going to have some more videos with you soon. Thank you so much. Have a great one.